Hi, I'm James Braswell. Welcome back to the Planetizen Week in Review. While we were away, Niantic, a company that's under the same corporate umbrella with Google, released a blockbuster new video game mobile app called Pokemon Go. Of course, you probably already know all about Pokemon Go, and you've seen that people are lining up on either side of a debate about whether the game is good for pedestrian activity and engagement with the public realm, or whether it's another sign of an increasingly distracted populace. One thing is very clear from Pokemon Go, however, and that is that the smartphone is absolutely one of the most important technology advancements for the field of planning in the last several decades, maybe even a century or longer. In public transit news, Transit Center released the findings of a new public survey this week. The survey reports the public opinion about public transit improvements, finding that most transit users and members of the public find investments in things like better frequencies and better transit service to be much more important than investments in bells and whistles such as Wi-Fi and power outlets. The report also strongly suggests that transit agencies move away from targeting two kinds of transit users, both hypothetical. One is a choice transit user and the other is captive transit user. Instead, the report suggests three types of transit users: the occasional transit user, the commuter transit user, and the all-purpose transit user. Finally, I'd like to offer two recommended articles for reading this week. One is by Yona Freemark, and he offers a very clear explanation of population analysis, digging into the advantages and disadvantages of the various sources of data and approaches to population analysis. Finally, Emily Badger, writing for the Washington Post's Wonk blog, wrote an article detailing and arguing for the Black Lives Matter protests on highways as an appropriate site for the resistance to oppression. According to Badger, highways have a racist history, and planners and planning decisions over the past many decades have contributed to the decimation of Black communities and Black neighborhoods, and as such, highways are absolutely an appropriate site for these protests. Regardless of your opinion on the site of these protests in the last several weeks, the issue of highways and other planning decisions that contribute to inequality and racial conflict is something that planners must face more regularly and much more publicly in the future to prevent these kind of outcomes. And with that, I'd like to thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next week for the Planetizen Week in Review.